people. You guys are watching and or listening to another Nomadic Cole video for your guys' education and entertainment. Be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, share, and subscribe for more epic, awesome, cool, and interesting content just like this one right here, right now on the Nomadic Cole YouTube channel. Guys, today I've got a special video for you guys. I've been on hiatus, a short-term hiatus for the last, I want to say a week or so. And in that time, I've been doing a lot of reading and research. And in doing so, I got a cool idea for a new video. So I hope you guys will enjoy it. Today, we're going to be reading a book. This is a great book for anybody who's interested in military strategy, history, or philosophy like me. And that book is The Art of War by Sun Tzu, one of the great military strategists, writers, and philosophers of ancient China. And a lot of what he has to say in this book is, it still rings true today. So let's get started, shall we? We are going to use this book to make a prediction on how to determine the outcome of the current ongoing conflict in the Middle East between the U.S. and Israel and Iran. We're going to be doing that by using Sun Tzu's 7 considerations for which he can forecast a victory or defeat. So I hope you guys will enjoy. Number 1, the first consideration. Which of the two sovereigns is imbued with the moral law? Now, if you ask me, I would say that this war is morally gray. You really don't have a clear good guy or bad guy in this sort of war. On one side, you got the Iranians, which are no doubt deserving of some criticism. They are an authoritarian, theocratic regime that is causing chaos throughout the region and is disrupting the global economy. On the other side of this war, you've got the U.S. and the Israelis, which are acting with impunity as an imperial force that is waging war throughout the region. So really no clear good guy or bad guy. So let's use what Sun Tzu considers the moral law. He writes here, "The moral law causes the people to be in complete accord with their ruler, so that they will follow him regardless of their lives, undismayed by any danger." On the U.S. side of things, we have low morale throughout the forces, both enlisted and officers. One of the last words of one of the reservists that died within the initial retaliatory strikes by Iran were that he just wanted to finish the job and go back home to his family. And unfortunately, he died and he was not able to return home. And that's just heartbreaking. You see in Pete Hegseth's speech to the officers of the military that happened a few months ago, the military was unimpressed. You had several officers who were disappointed, sat there just looking stone-faced at Pete Hegseth, and after they had some harsh words to say about him with his whole gung-ho, warmongering mentality and giving essentially unconstitutional orders to the servicemen. You also have all-time low recruiting numbers, the worst it's been since the 1940s. And the war right now, 60% of the U.S. population opposes the war in Iran. Meanwhile, on the Iranian side, these people are invigorated. They see their leader as the Ayatollah who was assassinated, they see their leader as a martyr. They've been prepared for this war. They see this war as sort of a battle against demonic forces and as a religious crusade against the imperial force. So I think if we look at it through just the Iranian perspectives and not an objective perspective, who's going to follow their leader without question? I think it goes to the Iranians. So number one goes to Iran. Number two, which of the two generals has the most ability? Now let's look at our military oversight. You've got Donald Trump, who's the commander-in-chief, who has really no military experience whatsoever. He has never served in any military capacity, and he also dodged the Vietnam War draft. So you have that. Then you have J.D. Vance, who only made it up to a lance corporal in the Marines, and he's kind of hesitant about this war, and because of that, Donald Trump doesn't listen to him. So he's kind of out of the equation. Then you got Pete Hegseth, who's a pogue, who, never really, saw any actual combat, and he also was a Fox News host and is pretty much just telling Donald Trump whatever he wants to hear. And when you have throughout history a general who tells their leader whatever they want to hear, it usually doesn't end well for that country. I mean, you look at the Roman Empire, you look at the Nazis, they had generals who were scared of their leader and just told them whatever they wanted to hear. And in doing that, there was a shroud essentially placed over the head of the leadership, and they could not make decisions clearly because of that miscommunication. So number two, I'd have to say probably goes to Iran, because they've been prepared for this war for the last 20 years, and they are throwing everything but the kitchen sink at their adversaries in this battle. Number three, with whom lie the advantages derived from the heavens and earth? So the advantages of the earth is essentially home field advantage. Obviously, since we are waging a war halfway around the world, and if we tried a ground invasion, it's not looking good, because most of Iran is very mountainous terrain, very rocky, a lot of places that guerrillas could hide in, and that's just produces a dangerous situation for us going into a prolonged conflict. So you look at that and you have to say, okay, so they have the advantage of the earth, but who has the advantage of the heaven? Now, granted, and technology-wise, in theory, we should have the advantage of the heavens. We have 5th generation fighter jets and all this crazy machinery. But let's look at the damages that Iran has been inflicting on us, okay? For starters, they've taken down a KC-135 Stratotanker. We've lost 4 F-15 Eagle fighter jets. We've lost 2, one Israeli, one American, F-35 Lightning II fighter jets. Those are 5th generation fighters that we've lost. We've lost several drones. Mostly the Israeli drones were used, but they've lost several of those drones. We've lost THAAD weapon systems. The Iron Dome is being cracked by hypersonic missiles, and also low-tech drones are managing to sneak through at a low altitude, pass underneath the radar systems, and do damage with the suicide drones that they have. They struck an aircraft carrier. The USS Gerald Ford is going back home. because of the damages that were sustained from an Iranian drone attack. So clearly, Iran, despite Donald Trump's chest beating, is lying with the advantage of the heaven and earth, and they will take the number 3 category as well. So currently Iran is 3-0. Next is, on which side is discipline most rigorously enforced? Now this one is a little bit tricky because yes, our brave special forces members, absolutely some of the highest disciplined soldiers in the region and in the world, actually, not just the region, some of the highest disciplined soldiers in the world. But you look at kind of like the lower levels, and our soldiers, I mean, brave as they are, and yes, I do have respect for our servicemen and women, don't get me wrong, but I mean, they're really kind of the TikTok generation.
Dance challenge.
Meanwhile, you look at the Iranians and you consider, again, they view this conflict as an existential crisis to their nation. They are invigorated with fury because they view the Ayatollah as a martyr, and he was a religious leader to them. They have been preparing for 20 years, and they are striking with what looks to be pretty deadly accuracy. I'd have to say the discipline right now, probably going to have to go to Iran as well. So now it's 4-0. Not exactly looking great. The next one is, which army is stronger? So, well, granted, we are dealing with some logistical issues concerning having to travel halfway around the world and bring in troops, which means that any campaign can't be a sustained operation. It has to be a quick and swift, furious strike. Our military does have a significant technological advantage. We certainly have the better troops as far as having advanced training and, advanced training and advanced strength levels throughout our forces, especially with new guidelines being pushed, because we do absolutely need to get rid of all the tubby soldiers, but that's not just going to go away overnight. No doubt about it. We have really powerful weaponry that can do a lot of damage, and one of the strongest navies and air forces in the world. So I'd have to say, with a $1 trillion military budget, I think it's safe to say we have the stronger army, at least on paper. Number 6 is kind of leading into what I was leading into earlier, is in which of these two, which side are the officers and men more highly trained? I'd have to say, as far as having higher training and, more soldiers with higher levels of training, I'd have to say the U.S. military probably gets the better training of the two in as far as the conflict is concerned. And then number 7, in which army is there the greater consistency both in reward and punishment? So I think as far as reward goes, our military probably gives the best rewards to its troops. I mean, you get a GI Bill, you get free college, you get, $20,000 signing bonuses. That's a lot of reward that you can get out of serving in the military. However, I mean, I feel like when you look at kind of the low levels of discipline, the low morale, all that, concerned, I feel like the punishment isn't as bad. I mean, yes, you can get dishonorably discharged, you can get court-martialed for doing stuff in the military, but as far as punishment is concerned, I think the Iranians get the worst punishment because deserters, they just get killed. You know, you desert the force, you just get killed because it is an authoritarian, theocratic regime. So, I mean, as far as the punishment goes, uh, yeah, and I think there's also kind of a spiritual reward that a lot of the Iranian forces see as well, because again, they see this as kind of a religious conflict, so they have a bit of a spiritual reward in a sense as well. So I mean, this one's kind of hard to say. So number 7, I think I'm going to chalk it up to a draw, with the U.S. having better reward, while the Iranians have a worse punishment, you know, a stricter punishment for their men. So with that one, I'm going to give it a draw. So let's go over it. So number 1, we gave that to the Iranians. Number 2, we also gave that to the Iranians. Number 3, again, the Iranians. Number 4, the Iranians. Number 5, that one went to the U.S. Number 6 also went to the U.S. And then we have a draw. So the number is 4-2, and then a dash and a 1. So yes, I am predicting that the Iranians, using asymmetrical warfare with all the logistical concerns being accounted for, with what we are seeing right now in live HD 4K footage, as far as who's dealing really the most crucial damage, with the Iranians essentially holding the Strait of Hormuz hostage, and with that the world economy, because everything's based off the petrodollar. I'm going to have to say that the Iranians are probably going to end up turning this into a war of attrition, like a Vietnam, like an Iraq, like an Afghanistan, and they're going to, while suffering some heavy damage, don't get me wrong, the U.S. will definitely do a major toll on the infrastructure of Iran. But I do think that Iranians will hold out, and they will ultimately force the U.S. to eventually have to cut our losses and tuck tail and head home, honestly. That is how I forecast that. And again, Sun Tzu has another quote in this book as well on the next page, where he is talking about, I mean, really what is the consequences of sustained conflicts like this. He says, as far as poverty of state is concerned, the poverty of the state causes the army to be maintained by contributions from a distance. Contributing to maintain an army at a distance causes the people to be impoverished, which certainly is happening right now. On the other hand, the proximity of an army causes prices to go up, and high prices cause people's substance to be drained away. When their substance is drained away, the peasantry will be afflicted by heavy exactions. Again, that's also happening now, as the Strait of Hormuz is causing prices to go up with it being blocked off, and it's really hurting the economy. I was just at the gas pump the other day, and the price of oil at the gas pump is $6 a gallon, which is absolutely insane. I guess so much for Donald Trump bringing down those oil prices. He also says this about waging a prolonged war. Sun Tzu says, when you engage in actual fighting, if victory is long in coming, then men's weapons will grow dull and their ardor will be dampened. If you lay siege to a town, you will exhaust your strength. And we've laid some siege to some civilian infrastructure, which is kind of a waste of resources, if you ask me, and is a fucking war crime. So it's not looking good as far as just trying to sustain this long-term conflict. And he says this: there is no instance of a country having benefited from prolonged warfare. Objectively true. Quote by Sun Tzu. So there's plenty more quotes like that within that book that really still ring true today. And yeah, that's what I think. I think Iran using asymmetrical warfare, using deception and controlled chaos, using pretty much holding the global economy hostage, Iran will probably end up coming out of this conflict looking better than the United States. And the United States, we're going to lose some influence, and we're probably going to just have to go home, honestly. And it's probably for the best. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. And again, be sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, share, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. This is the Nomadic Cole, signing off.